Rabotai. We're in the Seder Teshuva, and the Rambam, Perek Bet, Perek Zayin, and Teshuva discusses how a person is supposed to do Teshuva, what it means, what are the steps of doing Teshuva. The first step, obviously, Azivat HaChet, is to leave the sin, to stop doing the sin. The Gemara Sechet Yoma Pehei says that a person who says, I will do Teshuva, and he plans on doing the sin again later, it's not going to be considered Teshuva. And furthermore, it's considered that HaKadosh Baruch Hu will make it that Chas v'Shalom, he will not be able to do Teshuva. Hashem says, you think you'll do a sin, you'll just do Teshuva, just like you did this time. You'll do Teshuva again later. I will make it that you'll not be able to Teshuva. Something will come up and you won't be able to Teshuva. Some people have a change of heart. Some people, something happens to them. Who knows? Chas v'Shalom. So therefore, a person cannot plan in advance. I will do a sin, and I'll do Teshuva, and I'll do Teshuva, and I'll do a sin. It doesn't work like that. You have to stop. You have to make the commitment not to do it anymore. Just like a person quits smoking, he doesn't go back to smoking again. He makes a diet, he doesn't go back to eating the same bad foods. The same thing with the behavior. And not just stopping from sins. Also the Rambam Perek Zayin says a person has to do Teshuvah from bad character traits, bad midot. Everybody speaks how you have to first be Odam, and then do mitzvot, be religious. Okay, but we also have to do, some people, it's hard to have derech eretz, it's hard to have good manners, it's hard to work on our anger, our envy, our speaking not nice to other people, our ability to be cheap, or a person's not always chasing the kavod, always chasing honor, or chasing money, desire for money. All these things that we have to work on, make teshuvah also in this time, not just for biblical prohibitions that we are halachot and mitzvot from the Torah, just also manners and how to be a good person. Also a person has to do teshuvah. As Yisrael Salanter says, it is alav shalom, it's harder to change one midah than to learn all of Shas, to learn all the Talmud. So the person has to work on also having good character traits. And the Rambam also says you have to have harata. A person has to have regret. Imagine how a person goes on a plane and he left his wallet in the terminal. And he's begging the lady, please, just open the door. Let me go back and get my wallet. I forgot my wallet. Who knows what's going to happen to my wallet? I'm flying back home from Eretz Yisrael. How much regret he feels, how he didn't check his chair. Why didn't he check all his stuff, where his stuff was before he went on the plane? Chaval, how did I leave without checking? So that's how a person has to feel when he did a sin. Chaval, why did I do this sin? How could it be I did the sin against HaKadosh Baruch Hu? I wish I could have gone back and I would have checked twice and I would have thought differently, acted differently. This is the harata a person has to have when he does teshuvah. He also, says the Rambam, he has to do vidui. He has to go and confess. As the Torah tells us that a person who will not confess, will not explicitly say the sin he did to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, obviously not to other people, but confess verbally to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I did this and this sin, and this day, and this time, and I was with this desire, and I was in the wrong thinking, and I want to ask forgiveness from you, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and he has to verbally confess. We see famous Viduy Gadol on Yom Kippur. We go and we say the huge confession that lists all the sins. Why do we have to list all the sins? Because we have to say each one, if we Chas v'Shalom did any of them, we have to go and say each one what the sin we did was in order to fulfill this mitzvah of confession. And then finally, what we have to do is Kabbalah. Kabbalah means not to acceptance on ourselves, not to do the sin again, and to wish that it should be sincere. Yes, if a person does the teshuvah and he falls in the same sin again, but he didn't plan on it, that's not okay, but it happens. Listen, the Yetzer Hara can get us. But a person cannot plan in advance to do it again. He has to make a real Kabbalah that I don't want to do this sin again. And the Rambam says, a person before he did teshuvah, he was mishukatz, mituav, he was Chas v'Shalom, distant from Hashem, Hashem was disgusted by his behavior, but now he does teshuvah, he is loved, he is accepted. As we said before, the place, the Baalei Teshuvah stand, the tzaddikim do not stand. You're on a higher level. That's why the Rif says, why we have Sefer Benonim. Why we have Sefer Benonim? Just don't write anybody in Sefer Benonim. Just wait until Yom Kippur, then put them in Sefer Tzadikim or Sefer Hashem. Why do you have to have Sefer Benonim? It's in order to put the Baalei Teshuvah who do Teshuvah, they don't belong in Sefer Tzadikim, they belong in a higher book called Sefer Benonim. So therefore a person will reach a very high level if he goes and does Teshuvah, but the opportunity is now before Yom Kippur, to make Teshuvah and to do this process properly. There's a wonderful mashal, a beautiful, cute idea that a person can think about is imagine a person already has many points on his license. And he got another speeding ticket. And he comes to court that day and he goes to the judge and he says to the judge, please, I have to say a few words to you. He says, what do you want to say? I'm about to sentence you. I'm about to suspend your license. He says, listen, I apologize. I feel bad for what I did. I accept upon myself never to do it again. Have mercy on me. Would that help? Would that make the judge think twice? No, that's it. What do you mean? That's going to help me? I don't accept that. The judgment is judgment. We sinned. And why isn't HaKadosh Baruch Hu like that with us? We sin. We should pay the price. What does it mean? Teshuva, Hashem erases it. Hashem makes as if we did mitzvot. Hashem makes it as if we didn't do it on purpose. We should realize that the huge, huge mercy HaKadosh Baruch Hu has on us. He's not just Malkeinu, our king. He's Avinu Malkeinu. He's our father, our king. He's our person. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is knocking on the door, asking, do Teshuva. We're not going to open the door for him. We're not going to go and take the opportunity to give us. How can we not? So we should also to do Teshuva.